during the DC acquisition, and one of the books we experimented on with Speed Racer was, I complained that, why did all the early 90s comics of Speed Racer look nothing like the TV show? Let's see if with the computer coloring department at Wildstorm, we could use these techniques to replicate the cell animation look a lot like the Macross #1 comic that Svea worked on years ago, but do it all digitally. And when Speed Racer miniseries came out, it actually succeeded. It actually looked very cell-like, even though it was being produced digitally. And nowadays in Japan, almost no cells are produced anymore because to cut costs, they do all their frames all digitally and they simulate the cell look in the computer. And once that succeeded, then all these other cell anime style books started coming out after that. And the project I was tapped on for after that was Robotech. And that brought me into the orbit of Harmony Gold. So,
and brought you back into the fold, but more as a creative director and a writer. The big question, I think, the elephant in the room is, why didn't you draw all of the any of the Robotech comics beyond the covers?
It's just because I didn't have the bandwidth to. Because we were working on Shadow Chronicles, we were working on the games, we were working on product design, we were working on packaging designs. Oftentimes when if you're a writer, and you're very, very organized, it's possible to do that. But if you're an artist, doing multiple books per month, it's murder, as this guy can attest.
I'm surprised you had time to draw on covers.
I'm surprised I had time to draw covers.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, a lot of that, yes.
What you say is true, because I have experience doing the video covers for
I remember those, yes.
I did the first 10 volumes for Macross. And the thing is, yes, you have to produce it very fast, and they expect it to be done on time because they need to have it advertised as soon as possible.
Yep.
And that's why probably I was a little bit slower on the last half, so I probably never did the rest of them after that.
Oh, there was another artist who was trying to replicate that Svea basic style of art, painting on actual cells, which is Shulov Tan.
Yes.
He got Carl's attention because he had worked on Macross 2, the Micronian conspiracy. And he ended up working on some of the Streamline covers as well.
Yeah, and the Macross 2 Americanized manga has a distinction being written by James D. Hudnall, who did Espers for Eclipse, and he did the last half of Strike Force Mortuary for Marvel. And his Marvel experience kind of burned him out, so he does like spot comic book writing right now.
Oh, do we have another panel coming up? Because we're at noon.
We're at lunch.
Oh, we're at lunch? We'll blow through this. So
we don't have to eat.
So with Wildstorm, the nice thing about having DC's big infrastructure, we had lots of foreign releases. These are the Chinese versions of all the Robotech series. And then we had the Robotech Voltron crossover. Oh, if you want, how many of you came to San Diego Comic-Con? All right, not many of you. Okay, so here's some of the gags from last year's San Diego Comic-Con. These were the responses in the first 24 hours after we, announced it there. So, actually, my favorite one is the last one, which is, would probably rather see Chiron romance Prince Lotor.
And that almost happened.
And these are actual responses on social media. Oh, and the misspellings are actual. We just lifted it, copied and pasted it.
Now, before you turn to the next slide, look at the last two.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, these people were predicting the future, kind of, because otherwise the Robotech Voltron crossover, that showed that there were people who were interested in it.
And then, Ron Paul warned us this would happen. That's one of my favorites. So, this was done as a total throwback series because we saw with some of the recent adaptations of the Voltron comics, they were trying to give it a grittier edge, trying to
rebooting it a lot.
It's kind of downplay some of the more jokey anime elements like the mice in Voltron. And we decided to kind of flip it around. We decided to embrace it instead. So we decided to embrace the M's, which was monsters and robots, mullets, and mice. So we had all those elements in there, the crazy hair, whatever, and so here's some of the artwork that we had done by Elmer Damaso. Really, really nice artist.
Yeah, and Elmer's based out of the Philippines, correct?
Yeah, and he is great.
Yeah, so if you didn't get the miniseries, get the graphic novel.
Yeah, it's the graphic novel is shipping right around now, so,
I believe so, yeah.
it should be in stores very soon.
And this is not to pimp the book or anything, but it's reasonably priced for collected. Because
It will be on Amazon?
It's 5 issues.
What?
I think it's somewhere, it's in the ballpark of $14.95-ish, in that range.
Yeah, and also we included some pre-production designs,
Yeah.
like the sketch designs that Elmer Damaso did, and it includes some mecha designs and behind-the-scenes information. And we're also going to add some promotional stuff that we're going to release as a surprise soon, but you'll see those in the coming weeks.
So this panel here, or this slide here, shows the beginnings of the tie into Carl's original Robotech graphic novel.
Pops Hunter, based off USS Kenosha. So for those of you who collected a graphic novel back then, you'll see little cues tying everything neatly together.
Will it be sold on Amazon? Or something, the store? Where would the graphic novel be
I
sold?
think so. Here's the thing, with trade paperbacks, nowadays, because print numbers are so down compared to where they were a decade ago,
Yeah.
it's so hard and spotty to find out whether your brick and mortar store is going to have the specific book that you want. So nowadays it just seems to be, online is the easy way to get it. Either ordering it from mail order or getting it through Comixology. So you can do it both ways.
Is this going to be available on Robotech.com?
Yeah,
Oh, it'll be in the
we're
store.
going to have some copies, but Comixology, it'll be available. It's actually
It is
available
available.
now on Comixology, and the trade paperback is shipping out right around now.
Yeah, and you can find it on Amazon also.
So thank you very much. I think that covers everything.
Almost.
Oh, what?
Because the other question that's kind of lingering in the room is, at Comic-Con you announced that.
Oh yes. Okay. So even big licenses get shuffled around sometimes because Dark Horse had an amazing run for over a decade with Star Wars comics.
Almost 2 decades.
But then after Marvel and Lucasfilm were both bought by Disney. Disney, decided, well, since we own both these companies, the new Star Wars comics will be published by Marvel instead.
Again.
And so,
Back to the beginning.
just like, and so likewise, same thing. The rights to Robotech were at Warner Brothers for some time, but now it's over at Sony, and so our long association with DC Comics is expiring at the end of this year, and so we'll be announcing a new comic book publisher early next year. And so expect news about that soon. I can't say who it is right now because actually more than one company has expressed interest in this. Big companies. Yeah.
Yes,
So
there's
we're definitely going to do more.
There's going to be new Robotech material. I just wanted you to be able to expound on that before people started buying into the rumors about, so-and-so's got Robotech because they didn't, DC let it go.
Oh no, actually we had a great relationship with DC. It's just, when the rights move between companies, it just happens, like what happened with Star Wars.
All right, so that...
Oh, I got one more thing to show you guys. I want to show you, sometimes seeing things on screen is different than seeing things in person.
Yes. This is the secret surprise that Tommy mentioned to me in the hallway.
Get your Twitter subs ready.
It's in.
It's already great.
So, just to show you guys the difference. So this is the work I did over at Wildstorm. This was when we were doing Speed Racer. And the Robotech books were produced largely the same way.
Now, in case you don't know, also, Tommy's Speed Racer miniseries, and I don't think he will admit to it, but had his Speed Racer miniseries not been successful at Wildstorm, the Wachowski brothers wouldn't have done their movie. Now, it's not Tommy's fault that the movie ended up the way it did. Because the comic was, if they would have done a straight adaptation of the comic, it would have been far superior. What was really cool about the comic was all of the mashup San Diego landmarks that he included, like the fictional Del Mar Raceway. He converted the horse racing track into basically a NASCAR quality super speedway. The other thing he did, which was very revolutionary, is he made the Mach 5 more of a realistic car, in the sense of he didn't try to do like a NASCAR. He made it more like an import tuner type car, like a real street car, with all the cool gadgets still involved.
So this is interesting. You never saw which home the Speed Racer family lived out of, and so we just made it a California Valley home that was a similar model as the Brady house.
Yeah, that's a really funny.
And but this was the method that this is the method that the traditional American comic book companies use. Now,
Basically, blue pencil.
so
and
with
background.
actually, the blue pencil thing is kind of recent. I know Pat Lee works that way too.
Yeah.
But most comic artists, they'll work in pencil.
Yeah.
They'll have a pencil and an inker. The reason why I didn't like, because I was inking my own work, the reason why I didn't like using a regular pencil and erasing was it would actually roughen the texture of the paper, and it would drive me nuts when I had to ink.
Yeah.
If I wasn't inking, I would go, that's that guy's problem. Because I had to ink it myself, I was like, I don't want to do that. So.
Yeah, and also the texture, the ink would bleed into the paper. You'll get texture bleed.
So now what these are is these are
Original
these
art.
are Sevilla's artwork
Yeah.
back in
1984.
and so this is her work was actually inked on a cell, and then in multiple layers below it, it was painted like cell animation, and then there was
Layer after
background,
layer.
which was.
So it actually looked like a cartoon.
So that's why Macross #1 had a very different look.
than Macross 2 with the
Yeah.
forward. And if you also remember the slide for Macross Saga #2, they actually used part of the Macross
So you memorize
actual
all
original
these.
Japanese
Yeah,
logo.
yeah. So this is So because it took so long to produce this book, when the series had to go monthly, they couldn't do this again, and so that's why they had to switch to the more conventional method for the subsequent books.
Otherwise,
I think it took about 3 months. Yeah, and they
The
were
book
trying
is
to
still being
compress
made
it
right
down
now.
to 4 to 6 weeks per book.
I think we would be right up to episode 85 right about now.
Actually, that was a smart thing they did. Instead of putting them on a monthly schedule, they put them on a 6-week schedule, and then they put the books 2 weeks apart because there
they
were
staggered.
series. And because the artists were on a 6-week schedule instead of a monthly schedule, that's why they stayed on the books so long. They didn't burn out.
Yeah, and Macross basically, the Macross Saga had a head start, and then it was ironically the last book to be finished. So it started for Kamiko, and then it ended for Kamiko. And also, just so you know, Kamiko got, with the success of Robotech, they were able to acquire the license for Johnny Quest. And that was, they were able to get the original creator of Johnny Quest, Doug Wowley, to work on a 3-issue miniseries. And that was unheard of at the time. So, not only did they have Carl Masick, the creator of Robotech, working on a book.
You guys aren't getting hungry, are you?
that.
I am so sorry. You guys can go to lunch now. I'll just keep
So,
building up our.
Yeah, so basically, time's
just
got
go to
one
lunch, I'll
page.
hang on to that for you.
Okay. So I'd like to thank our guests here. I'll start with Don. Thank you for coming down. Thank you. We'll go with the writing. Sean, thank you for coming, Sean. And last but not least, Tommy Yune. That'll conclude our panel on the history of comics and Robotech comics and also Robotech art. We're going to be taking a brief lunch break, and then after that, there'll be the next panel, which will, I believe, feature the voice talent from the original series. So don't wander off too far, and we'll try to start that one as close to 1 o'clock as possible.
There is a mall across the street, just diagonal to us, that has a food court you guys can go to.